Welcome to the Week 1 tool demo for DFS 540, where we start taking a look at Redshot and Process Monitor. For this particular demo, we're going to use a piece of malware, which is more adware based. It's a non-lethal malware, as you can see here, the conduit toolbar. It's not a worm malware, which the main objective is to spread through your computer and network, finding places to hide and exploiting vulnerabilities to travel in your network. It's basically spyware. Spyware usually contains Trojans so they can send information from your computer to a remote host. You can download the malware and follow along, or potentially move forward with this particular unwanted program by doing a simple search on Google, namely the conduit toolbar. When we think about the conduit toolbar, many people complain because it does sap up a lot of memory in the CPU. There may be instances where a lot of time is elapsed for you to fire up your applications or load a certain process on your computer. And the conduit toolbar is really categorized as a grayware or non-malicious spyware. Before we begin, it's necessary to run and start the artifacts monitoring using our process monitor and our Redshot analysis in the background. For Redshot, we'll take our very first snapshot before the malware infection starts. So go ahead and open up your Redshot and click on First Shot and make sure that you do have the right output path to where your results will be put to once we finish the demo and do our second shot at the end of the malware infection. Again, just another preview of the actual install for the conduit toolbar. Okay, so with the conduit toolbar, once it's downloaded on your computer, perhaps in your documents or your downloads folder, you can proceed to execute it. Note that this malware is infamous for creating a toolbar in your browser and hijacking your home page for advertising uses. Okay, so rename that conduit file tb_conduit.exe to conduitmalware.exe. And this is just for you for malware examination, educational purposes, to clearly identify that you're working with a malicious piece of software or malicious executable. So for the process, we run the malware, the conduit toolbar. When you're ready, you can run the malware, double click on the binary file to execute it, and it will go through these various stages of the installation process. Okay, the conduit toolbar, this first installation screen, when you're prompted, check the part where it states set my default search and homepage to Trovy search and allow my current homepage and default search settings to be stored for easy reverting later. And again, just depending on what browser you're using, some of the language potentially could be a little bit different or look a little bit different than my screen here. So you check those because the average user that is forced to install malicious programs, like a program that features the conduit spyware, will most likely click on these checkbox options anyway. Okay, consider that it's legit or legal spyware because it has a policy that basically says this toolbar may contain applications that access, collect, and use your personal data, including your IP address and the contents of the web pages that you visit. So it gives you that, but it's not very obvious text. Okay, the average user is not going to read that fine print and is going to skip over it, but it is a critical piece of information for us to understand why this is legal spyware after all, which puts it in that gray category. So you click agree and install to proceed to the next step. And we're only analyzing the spyware toolbar in this particular demo and the hijacking that it does of the home page. So we really only need to worry about the next few offers, which offer screen glaze. That's a smart search powered screensaver that you see here in the middle caption. And from there, we actually go through and do a skip all. Okay, so we skip all, and then once we get there, you will see a screen that says installation complete. Okay. Now the installation should be complete thereafter. You can click finish, and the process will stop. Next, your default browser, in my case here, is Firefox, and for that particular browser, you'll get this pop-up. Okay, you'll click allow this installation, and then click continue. From this point on, Firefox is going to install the conduit toolbar, our malware here. After that, you should click Finish to see the conduit toolbar, and you'll see here that it's actually hijacked your home page. After this point, you get this nice welcome that says thank you. From this point on, you can restart your browser. So restart Firefox in this instance, and you'll see that your home page is temporarily hijacked, okay, by the adware. So now Conduit has taken over, and this should be all that the malware really intends to do. Other than that, it trojanizes your system and spies on it every once in a while, but the effects are pretty unnoticeable, and your system should slow down a lot at this point. So then we move into our ProcMon, or Process Monitor Analysis. In ProcMon, we will monitor the process of the Conduit toolbar by process names as it applies to the most relevant pieces that we are analyzing. Also, for this operation, we need to monitor it by the create file and close file to actually see what moves it intends to do to spawn files and close files. Sometimes it also propagates by creating a new malware specimen, for example, in the temporary folder under your C drive, where it's not so obvious and it's maybe difficult to unravel and clean up. And it is always unpredictable of what problematic software will do to your computer. We will not analyze the registry part of it just yet, as it will come later on in this demo in our red shot forensic analysis process. So as we look at this particular screenshot, when we filter the wsmall stub.executable or .exe, which is the malware specimen we're actually analyzing, we can see that it creates these following files that are highlighted in the red. Okay, so these are the particular files that it is creating, and after creating the files, it will then go and close each file after the process is done. So as you can see here in the red, you saw in the previous slide, created, and now you see the closure of these particular files. Now we're ready to move forward with our red shot analysis. So at the beginning, we took our first shot, okay, to get a current state of our registry prior to the infection. Then we move into our second capture. So we do second shot, again noting your output path here. Okay, so we take this second shot, we press second shot. When you're ready, you locate your output path name, and upon analysis, once you go to this particular location, you will actually see that there have been new registry entries that have actually been added here. And in this particular instance, and I'm not going to show all of these, it's quite a long list, upwards of 51 keys have been added to the registry here. But just looking through a few of these by the very name of the path, these registry entries, starting first with SmartBar at the top here, these registry entries create the SmartBar adware. Okay, it's undetectable by the average user because the average user doesn't know how to go into the registry and view the changes. And then as we move down the line here, a couple of more ending in the FF. This registry entry is defining the path of where the SmartBar adware is located. And then also this registry entry probably, once we look into uninstaller data, probably gets overwritten and deleted when the SmartBar adware is uninstalled, but we really can't guarantee deletion of executables like this unless we use some program like Malwarebytes or some type of adware cleaner. And so that's something to remain aware of if this is particularly installed on a victim's machine. The registry, when we start looking at the lower parts here and these particular registry values that have been added, these registries and the ones below and thereafter really modify the browser process, and this is particularly the Internet Explorer process. And these entries are again only a part of the 51 keys that have been added. The list is really long, and that's the limitation here. So again, just an overview of the red shot and process monitor and what they can do for you in your malware analysis. As always, let me know if you have any questions